Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us live today on the Elation podcast. We are here at NOLA MusicCon at the Jazz and Heritage Center in the drum room, which is pretty crazy, I think, right? I love the drum room. This is awesome. We're here today with Fiona Bloom. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And I love drums too,
Oh,
actually. I'm looking at the Gretsch right over
Oh,
there.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great room to be. Well, good to have you here.
Yes, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I love New Orleans.
Oh, it's such a great town, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm here for NOLA MusicCon, as you said.
Right.
And I live in New York and Atlanta. Actually, just left New York after 30 years there, and I just moved to Atlanta recently.
Oh,
so,
wow.
yeah.
What brought you to Atlanta?
Actually, my parents, you know, aging parents kind of brought me there. But it's funny because I went to school at Georgia State University and got into college radio and then commercial radio. So I kind of went back to my roots of where it all started.
Where it all started.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Because a lot of people don't know that I was a radio personality too. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can hear it in your voice
Yes.
and how you talk. I can hear it. I can hear it. Well, and so I hear an accent too. Where are you from?
It's so confusing, I know, because I live in Atlanta, spent 30 years in New York, went to Georgia State, but yet I don't have a Southern accent. I don't have a New York accent.
No.
I am from London, England.
Oh, beautiful. Love London.
So I grew up there.
Okay, awesome.
And still have family there as well. So
awesome. Love London.
Yeah.
Been there a few times. It's an amazing place. It actually reminds me a lot of New Orleans.
Really?
Yeah, you know, like the cobblestone streets and some of the pubs and stuff, you know, the way it kind of reminds me of the area and some of the architecture stuff, you know, because New Orleans is a little bit of everything. We got a little bit of everybody's home.
A lot of flavor. Same with London. Yeah.
So, but good. Well, I'm glad you're here in New Orleans.
Yes. Love it here. I've been here many times.
Well, so can you maybe explain to some people what you do here in the industry and what you've done, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. So it all started, as college radio DJ. But I have an agency at the moment that I had for about 12 years now called The Bloom Effect. And it's a one-stop shop. It's marketing, branding, international consulting, booking, publicity, a plethora of things, really, many facets of the wheel of the industry. And I'm also known as a tastemaker as well and a global connector.
Gotcha.
And the connector part is interesting because I like to basically introduce people to everyone. And you don't make a living as a connector, but it's really nice to see things sort of come together and the fruit at the end.
Absolutely.
You know, when people have established, deals, or they've ended up becoming best friends from the connection and the introductions that I make. And so for me, that's really rewarding. And I say all that to say New Orleans has a really sweet spot in my heart because I've done a lot for the New Orleans culture. I've promoted New Orleans music primarily, really across the world. I've done showcases with New Orleans artists in Europe. I've done stuff in New York. Just recently, I did something with Waterseed and Friends at New Blue. I did 6 weeks with them every single week. I think it was every Wednesday in a really cool club in New York called New Blue. So Lou and his crew with Waterseed would basically bring up different guests each week. And I hosted the show.
Awesome.
And it was really successful because not only were we getting the word out about all the incredible musicianship coming out of New Orleans, but we were also getting press, a lot of visibility, building a buzz, getting more excitement.
They got some new tech involved too, right? Yeah, they're we've had them on for the show for Elation. Yeah,
so it was really cool. I mean, they're an amazing band live, but then so were the others that they brought out. They brought out Flag Boy Giz or whatever his name is. Crucial. They brought out Dawn Richard. So I met amazing artists. And in fact, I saw Dawn Richard yesterday and we chatted for a while. She's like, yeah, I remember hanging out with you in New York and thank you and all of that. So, I've helped Crucial. I mean, I introduced Crucial to an artist I was looking after from Paris, who's a rapper called Tracy Dessar. They connected. She was looking for a feature for her new album. So I introduced them. Next thing you know, they're in the studio together. Next thing you know, he's on her album. And then she's bringing him out to Europe, to Spain and France for her album release parties.
There you go.
So her first time in Europe, Crucial gets to go there, to tour and perform with this really well-known artist. So he's making a name for himself in Europe now.
That's awesome.
So I had a hand in that.
That's awesome.
Latranium, who's now obviously in Texas. I've done some work with him. Can I tell you a crazy story about Tank and the Bangers?
Please.
Years ago, Tavia? Is that her
Tavia,
name?
Tavia.
Years ago, Tavia reached out to me because they were looking for a publicist. This is kind of a really sad story. one of my biggest regrets, I should say. They chased me down pretty heavily. Tavia is hardcore like that. She chased me down pretty heavily. She's like, I really want you to come to the show. This was very early stages, Tank and the Bangers. It was probably like 2016, 2015.
Gotcha.
I think. And I just didn't have the time. I didn't have the bandwidth. You know, I'm sort of a one-woman operation. I have a couple of interns. I have a couple part-timers, but I'm doing everything for the most part, and I'm working like 24/7.
Right.
So I honestly just didn't have the time to make it to their show, and then I missed doing a meeting with the band. And the rest is history.
Oh,
because
man.
they blew up.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to have them as a client.
Oh, man, yeah.
But I had to shout that out because
that's funny. That's
again,
a funny
the whole
story.
New Orleans connection.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely, absolutely. Well, great story. But you know, there's tons of things like that in the industry. I mean, Lady Gaga, if she wouldn't have met Akon in that one moment, like I don't think anybody, you know, it would have been a longer time till we've heard her voice, you know, and then you have DJ Khaled didn't listen to Eminem's tape, you know. We have there's things like that in the industry. There's so many things that take your time away. You can't possibly do everything.
We call those missed opportunities, lost opportunities. But for every missed opportunity, there's always another opportunity.
Absolutely.
And I take advantage of as many opportunities as I can. So when Melissa asked me to come to NOLA MusicCon, she actually asked me to be on the very first one.
Okay.
And I was like, yes, sign me up. But I ended up getting the flu or COVID or something.
Oh, wow.
It was right after COVID.
Right.
And I ended up getting COVID. I don't know what happened. But couldn't make that. Couldn't make it last year. But I'm finally here.
But you're finally here. Yeah, you're finally here.
Yeah, and you don't really need an excuse to come to
New Orleans. No, I mean, it's funny. I'm born and raised here, but I lived in LA for a long time. And I couldn't get anybody to come to LA that was from down here, or, you know, other than a few family members. I couldn't get anybody to come out to LA. But when I moved back home, everybody from LA that I met in LA is coming to New Orleans. You know, it's an easy place to sell.
Oh my God, so easy. I mean, the food's incredible, the culture, the people, the music, you know, the art. It's just everywhere you turn, there's something cool happening.
Absolutely.
Well, and I'm actually staying in Uptown, so I get a whole nother
perspective of it.
Staying with a good friend here.
Awesome.
So I have a lot of friends here too.
Awesome. So, we're a friendly place.
Yes.
Yeah, we're a friendly place.
Yes.
Well, so I know you just came from talking on a panel. You want to tell a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I moderated the panel, Build Your Buzz. And, you know, I can pretty much do that in my sleep. I mean, not without tooting my own horn, but the buzz, you know, publicist. I mean, the first thing people think of when you do PR or when you're putting together a PR campaign, you are building a buzz, you're creating a buzz. Of course, it's much bigger than PR because it takes everything to build a buzz. It takes booking festivals, it takes doing a TikTok moment, it takes having a cool collaboration, a cool visual.
Right.
You know, I used to work with MF Doom back in the day. He signed to my record label years ago, MF Doom. He had the metal face.
Right.
I mean, that itself, he didn't even have to get on stage. You were already talking about him because of his metal face.
Right.
So yes, I just got through moderating that, had a great panel. The panelists were great. Most of them I already knew. So there was really good synergy. Because it's always good when you know the panelists prior.
Oh, absolutely.
Because then you have that sort of chemistry already that's sort of built in.
And you can also plug in different things because you know the person has done things and you can, absolutely.
Exactly. I like it that way. It's much better that way.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And we had a good audience. I mean, I was hoping for a packed audience. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say that every seat was filled. But it was a good turnout. And it was also early in the morning. I mean, not that early, but 11 a.m. is pretty early for New Orleans standards or for any music nightlife standards because people are out of the clubs late. So.
Well, and I do feel like we're getting more and more people that are wanting to learn.
Yeah, you would think, right?
You know?
I say that half of the battle here for people that are trying to get into the industry or want to learn in the business and want to meet people like myself is you got to show up.
Right.
You got to show up and you got to show up on time and you got to show up to the right places and be at the places that you can be at and no excuse.
Right.
No excuses. Oh, car broke down. Oh, I woke up late or I got in late last night. No.
None of that.
None of that is acceptable.
Right.
None.
Right. No, none of those that you should accept for yourself.
Right.
You know, because especially if you're working on when you're working on your music career, you're working on yourself.
Yeah.
So you know, you're your own boss at that point.
So kudos to the people that were in the room that did show up, because they're the ones that are going to go further than the other ones who didn't show up. Right. So.
Well, you know, we kind of touched on this, and normally I ask a little later, but we're kind of already there. What do you think New Orleans is missing as far as industry goes?
Wow. Well, I just moved to Atlanta, right?
Right.
And a lot of people said that Atlanta, the industry is not there. It was going to take a while. It takes time to cultivate a scene. It takes time to cultivate an industry. It takes time to sell the idea of people in New York and LA and Nashville that there are things happening in
Elsewhere.
your
Right.
market,
Right.
in your music city, because we call them music cities.
Right.
It could be anywhere, Seattle, Portland, San Francisco,
Right.
right? Chicago,
Right.
New Orleans. So I think it's just a matter of just believing and just patience and determination to get people here,
Right.
and just continuing to build the stories, the success stories, like the Tank and the Bangers,
Right.
like the Water Seeds, like the Crucials, just to know that Chawa, all these different artists that are here, John Batiste,
Right.
that there is a scene of very successful musicians that are coming out of here, Trombone Shorty, I
Right.
mean, the list goes on and on.
On and on.
Dumpster, how do I say it? Dumpster, I want to say, what is the name of the band?
I-
Dumpster Frog, Dumpster Truck, I think they're called. Anyway, there's so many great bands.
Dumpster Truck.
here
That's
out of
right.
New
Yeah, it
Orleans.
is. Right.
So it just takes, continuing to build upon the success story of what has already, the foundation that's already been laid. And for more and more of that to get out, the business starts to come here. ASCAP opens up a New Orleans office. They send the PROs. There's a Recording Academy chapter.
Right.
I mean, I know it's Memphis, but it covers New Orleans.
I know.
But maybe at some point there will be a dedicated New
I've
Orleans.
been on Reed Wick about
Right.
that since I've known him.
Exactly.
I don't know
So-
why.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It takes time. It could take 10 years. It could take 5. It could take 15.
Right.
It could take 20. But it will happen with perseverance, determination, dedication, and the constant hustle to continue building on what you already
Well, and it comes
have.
in waves, and I feel like we haven't had a wave in a while. It's about
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
about time.
But all eyes are on New Orleans, it feels like. I mean, there's a show called New Orleans,
Yep.
right? There's a TV show.
Yep.
There's, when it comes to food and cuisine, there's amazing chefs that come out of this area,
Absolutely.
this region. I think with the culture and the foundation that's here, and obviously jazz. I mean,
Right.
Jazz Fest has already put New Orleans on the map. And I would
Absolutely.
think that anybody in the jazz industry, in the jazz business world, would be coming down here back and forth, at least setting up shop, just to be more successful across the globe by being here. in
No,
New Orleans.
100%. Well,
Yeah.
it's a little bit about
Yeah.
cutting your teeth a little bit in
Yes.
those areas.
Yes.
But as far as the modern music business,
Yeah.
we're pretty lacking in structure
Yeah,
and
the
infrastructure.
resources,
Yeah, the
the
resources
infrastructure,
and those
the
things.
technology.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, 'cause
you
that-
need more funding. That's what it is.
Right. Well,
you need the funding.
100%. In all aspects.
Yeah.
But because I'm born and raised here, but I spent 9 years in LA,
Yeah.
and as I was coming back and forth, realizing or meeting family and stuff, and trying to dip my toe in the industry here, realized that we've just been forgotten about infrastructure wise.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that's when I decided to come home and build Elation, which
Yeah.
kind of gives a all-in-one record label building in the sense that you can use to prop up your art and facilitate stuff
Yes.
on the same scale that you would be doing in LA, New York, Atlanta,
Yeah.
Chicago.
So we need more people like you.
Yeah.
More people that are moving in from New York, moving in from LA, moving in from Nashville to New Orleans.
that has the industry in their mind.
and has some funding
Right.
and support
Yeah.
and resources
Yep.
that will create what you are doing here with Elation as well.
Absolutely.
There's a woman that I met yesterday called Cole Williams. She works here for the foundation. She's also an artist as well. She has a local radio show on WWOZ.
Yes.
She's also building a lot for the community here and came from Brooklyn
Right.
10 years ago to set up shop here in New Orleans.
That's awesome.
It's working out really well for her.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I feel like there's a lot of energy on cultivating our culture right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
So if we could keep that movement going.
I don't see why you can't.
No, I feel like
there's a buzz.
There's a buzz. There's a
There
buzz.
is, like,
Absolutely. There's
yeah.
a buzz that somebody can grab on
Yeah.
and use.
Yeah. But you have the talent. That's the thing. It
And
all
that's the hardest
starts and
part.
ends with the talent.
Yeah, that's
and
the hardest part.
That is all here.
Yeah, I
That is
agree.
all here.
I agree.
Yeah.
What do you think your biggest takeaways from the panel was today?
Wow. That there's just so much out there that buzz is not just getting a good PR campaign. Buzz is not just a visual thing. Buzz is not just a festival play. That buzz, a lot of ingredients make up creating that buzz. So the biggest takeaway is just really also not being afraid to try new things.
Right.
To think outside the box, to go to areas that you've never tried before and develop something. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Right.
And it's fine if it fails. You know, as long
100%.
as you pick yourself back up and brush yourself off and try something else, right? Don't
100%.
give up. So, I mean, that was one of the takeaways. And the other one is just, you know, to be, I mean, we talk about being unique, right? To obviously have the talent, but have, you know, have the goods to back it up, but also have a little bit of savvy and a team around you as well.
Right.
To create, you know, the story, build the story,
it takes
build
a
the
team.
narrative and that visibility and exposure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It definitely takes
Yeah.
a team.
So there are a lot of takeaways. I mean, we had some great panelists, great experts. So there was, you know, there was a lot of takeaways. I'm glad it was filmed because I definitely think people should go back and watch
it. Yeah.
and listen to what we all shared, you know, and advice. And it was very educational, very informative. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If there's one step that you would consider the first step into building a buzz as a brand, what do you think that first step is for everybody across the board?
Yeah. Because again, I mentioned all the different facets, right,
Right.
that can create the buzz, whether it's a radio story, whether it's getting on tour, whether it's one festival, whether it's a brand partnership. And not everyone can do all that.
Right.
So I think the very first step is starting locally.
Right.
You know, building the buzz from the ground up in your community.
Yep. I always say go back to the trunk sale.
Yeah.
You know.
Sell it out the boot.
Yeah, you know.
Park the car,
yeah,
blast the stereo,
you know, like,
have your merch hanging out, and boom.
You know, start with the trunk sale,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
and 100 people paying you $10 is going to be more than, you know, 10,000 people paying you a half a penny
Exactly.
on your stream, you know.
Exactly.
So I agree with that thought process.
Yeah.
And then you can grow from there.
Grow from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely hear of some artists that, you know, get recognized that, you know, they can't get arrested here locally.
Right.
But yet, you know, they got their shot in Croatia, for example. I mean, those things do happen and you have to go with the lovers. I tell everyone, go with the lovers. So if it's happening organically in another country, then go to that other country and build the buzz from there.
Absolutely.
And maybe it takes the investment of just packing up your bags and going to that community where things are happening and at least give it 6 to 12 months. That's my other advice.
Absolutely. Well, the world is so much in your bedroom now. You can do market testing from anywhere.
You can.
You know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, you can know just from, you know, a touch of your fingertip on the web that something's taking off in Croatia or Singapore or, you know, Shanghai.
Right.
You don't even have to go to those countries and you know you've got those followers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you can just talk to them in real time.
Right.
From your bedroom.
Right.
Which we didn't have those. We didn't have that technology back when I started. We didn't have those tools.
No.
It's amazing today. Really amazing.
No, and I feel like it's also it's a gift and a curse because I feel like going back to the trunk sale is almost a non-thought because everybody thinks of the industry like this. And when you're trying to please or get to 6 billion people, it's a little bit more of a daunting process.
Overwhelming.
But if you think about narrowing it down to 10 people or 100 people, you know, on the street, it becomes a lot easier of a thought process.
I mean, I say Rome wasn't built in a day, right? For example, you've got to put in your 100,000 hours. Well, they say 10,000 hours,
yeah, they say
but
10,
it's a lot more than 10,000 hours.
100%.
Oh, it's not just, really. You've got to put in the time.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as an overnight success.
No.
You've got to build and build and build gradually.
Because even when you get that success, you have to have somebody in the background going, oh yeah, he's been around forever. Otherwise that foundation crumbles.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
No, I agree. Well, so what do you think is something that New Orleans specifically can do to help build that structure here?
Wow. I mean, maybe create more festival opportunities, like build more, there's quite a few festivals.
There's lots of festivals here.
You know, more conferences. I mean, obviously you don't want to oversaturate, but more opportunities than just once or twice a year.
More
I know there's
information.
Cutting edge here. Obviously, NOLA MusicCon is here now, 3rd or 4th year. But just continue to create more of those opportunities for, you know, the scene and the artist community, because a lot of the artists say, you know, that there's, even if there is 1 or 2 or 3 things here, that it's still not enough because there's only 30 slots to perform, or there's only, you know, programming for 3 days, and then not all the artists get selected. So they're like, well, what about me? How can I get, you know, discovered, or what are the opportunities for me?
Well,
so I think just create as many more opportunities for all the artists as you can, just to be open, you know, inclusive, diverse and inclusive. so that there's equal opportunity for everyone.
Yeah, because I feel like even some of the local festivals, like once they get a buzz and a name, they'll sell the festival to somebody outside of the city, and then they'll
Yeah.
stop doing the local talent.
Yeah.
And
that's a problem. That becomes a problem. I know. I mean, Jazz Fest got really huge.
Yes.
That's
Thankfully, they've stuck true to Jazz Fest,
which is great.
You
A
know,
lot of the local community.
when they get pushed to not be true, they just
Yeah.
make another stage.
Yeah.
You know,
But even like stations like WWOZ,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
there should be some
Yep.
other outlets here
absolutely.
on internet radio
Yep.
or pirate radio.
Right.
There should be more blogs coming up. There should be more entertainment sites. I've heard sad news that Offbeat is folding.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't lose Offbeat.
I know.
And if we do, there's a whole void. There's a big black void. We need to fill it now.
I agree.
With more,
Something.
media coverage. Otherwise, people are losing out.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. More people cultivating. Like, there's lots of cooks down here. We need some chefs.
Yeah.
You know.
And the chefs come from the experience of bringing it from New York,
Correct.
Nashville, LA, Atlanta. That's
Correct.
what we talked about. Yeah. But it's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, people are moving here. It's
I
coming.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I
and
see
it's
the wave.
cheaper. It's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
less. It costs less economically, and
I
there's so
could've-
much attractiveness to come here.
I could have never built what I built here in LA.
No way.
It would have
No way.
not would have only would have cost me so much more. But I always said I would never own it. Somebody else would have always owned it.
Yeah.
The way I did
Yeah.
it here, I own
Yeah.
everything. So it kind of, but it allows you to be that kind of bigger fish in a small pond,
Yeah. And
which creates market and
Yeah.
space for you.
And that just reminded me, I met Juvenile last
Mhm.
night and had a nice chat with him. And he's putting so much back into the community.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the brewery, he's got the chips, he's got the studios. He always works with the same people. Whoever he put on back then, he's still using
Yep.
and working with his kids. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
he's really growing it. And it's people like him, it's the successful ones that are here that don't abandon their roots.
Absolutely.
That's really, really important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're close with Juvie. He's actually our tenant.
Oh, no
Yeah, he
way.
does all the stuff at Elation.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, all the
Okay.
product shots, all the studio stuff.
Amazing.
Yep. So he's
I love how he keeps it all really local.
Oh, yeah.
He
Yep.
doesn't go to New York to get a manager or a publicist.
Nope.
Everything is really intact
Yep.
with him in his.
He's got to trust you to
circles.
be in the circle,
Yeah.
and then that's how you stay away. That's how you stay away from
Yeah.
things that the industry brings you that
Yeah.
can take you down.
Yeah, and I'm excited he has new music coming out.
Oh, I
'cause He hasn't
know.
put out a record in a long
Oh,
time.
and I've heard it. It's good. You're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
like it. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's Juvie. What I love
Yeah.
about it is he hasn't conformed into being a different artist.
Yeah.
He's manipulated the music around it and the some of the beats and some of the features to be
Yeah.
modern.
Right.
But he still sounds like Juvie.
Love that.
So to me, the fans are gonna love it.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what he did with the Tiny Desk and
Oh my God, yeah.
it's one of the best business moves that I can point to for people to pay attention to. Juvie went from performing by himself, at a club, or with a DJ doing it to just the background beat, at let's say 30 to 40,000 a night, to getting 150,000 with a band.
Wow.
And performing more often, and it's a amazing show.
Yeah.
Like,
Does he have
and
dances too and everything?
oh yeah, they got the whole thing. Well, that's Trombone Shorty Band, so the band is incredible,
Yeah.
and they do a great show, and it brings out the New Orleans in the
Yeah.
music, if that makes sense.
And got to shout out Big Frida. By the
Oh
way.
God, yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we've got a lot of talent.
Yeah.
I feel like we need some of that structure, and it's
Yeah,
coming.
And it's coming.
Yeah.
Because like I said, as long as people like Juvie stay here
Right.
and keep it grassroots and, don't abandon where they came out of,
Right.
then it's undeniable. Right?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. What would you say your favorite music venue is here in New Orleans?
oh my goodness. Gassa Gassa. is
Okay.
Really cool. I like Gassa Gassa. I obviously House of Blues.
Yeah.
Tipitina's. I mean, everybody loves Tipitina's,
Everybody loves
right?
Tips.
On Frenchman Street, there's another, I'm forgetting the name of the venue, but Waterseed did a lot of shows there.
Okay.
I cannot recall the name of it. And then my friend Howie Kaplan runs
Howlin' Wolf. Yep, we've
I've
had
done a few
Howie.
shows
We've had
with
Howie
Howlin'
before
Wolf
on
and Howlin'
Elation.
Wolf. I feel like there's a couple other venues I'm missing. Is the Music Box still around? Do you remember the Music Box?
Yeah, it's still here.
It is.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still doing shows, But I saw a couple shows at the Music Box when I was here a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great venue.
Trying to think of what other ones. I mean, there's so many
There's
venues
so many,
here.
yeah.
A lot of venues here. I will say one thing, though. A lot of venues here, and as much as the talent here is exceptional, I hear through the grapevine, and I don't want to, this is not a diss, this is more constructive, but I hear through the grapevine that the production value or the sound is really not the quality that it should be, that, you know, should be, considering the amazing talent that you have here.
So I think that has to do a lot with the infrastructure of the bars itself.
Right.
Because I feel like, just like with COVID, you eliminate certain non-essential workers.
Yeah.
And I feel like the sound guy has been eliminated.
Okay.
And the band almost kind of has to handle it themselves.
Okay.
In a lot of those venues.
Yeah.
And so it has definitely brought down some of the structure, even though some of those tourist spots on Bourbon don't have a full-time sound guy.
Oh my goodness.
So like,
that's criminal.
You know,
that has to change.
Yeah.
That has to change. Because even touring bands are gonna, you don't want them to come back and say, well, we just played a gig in New Orleans and it sucked.
Well, and I think,
I mean, not that it sucked for the turnout was great, but the sound, the sound wasn't
absolutely
great.
You know, like, and you even House of Blues doesn't sound great.
See, that to me is like
if you're upstairs, it's just,
that's a travesty. Like a House of Blues, like there's no excuse for that.
No,
none
agreed.
whatsoever.
I agree.
With a brand that established,
I agree.
You know, with venues across the country or the world even.
But going back to the infrastructure, we need people to care about the infrastructure.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you think Katrina sort of damaged?
We've been forgotten about since Katrina. Like that's basically because you go back to before Katrina, we had Cash Money was still here, even though a lot of them had kind of moved out. They still had their presence here.
Yeah.
No Limit was already in California, but they still kind of had a presence here.
Yeah.
But after Katrina, everybody left completely.
Yeah.
And they moved their homes, their families.
Well, they were also displaced. I mean, they had to leave.
But they all had money, so they all moved and settled elsewhere.
And then they didn't come back.
And nobody came back. And then so the only people that came back were some of the creatives and the baseline independents, but that structure, that money that was made, and the notoriety that we all got left. And Cash Money got no more from Miami and Atlanta than they did New Orleans, even though they're from New Orleans. They were spending their money and their time in Atlanta and
that's a problem.
You know,
that's a big problem.
Yeah, and so that leaves no corporate money coming in. That leaves no structure, no labels,
but it's gonna
no
change.
publishers.
It's going to change.
So,
I mean, you're here to help the change.
And that was a part of the deal. So yes.
Well, how can I help to create that change, to make it better? How can I help improve the New Orleans infrastructure? I mean, yes, I live in Atlanta. But what can I do to help?
We got to bring some good notoriety to it. We got to do something that gets some good press.
Yeah.
We got to bring some buzz.
Yeah,
we got to get some buzz.
I'm thinking about it.
So,
well, I'm back to working. I worked over the last 10 years with Waterseed on and off.
Right.
I brought them to New York. I brought them all over the country, booked them overseas a couple times. I got tremendous buzz for them over the years on various projects. But we haven't officially worked together in about 3 or 4 years. But we have just sealed the deal for me to come on board in a couple days.
Awesome.
So that's my big project, to get back New Orleans with the buzz, Waterseed, and go from there.
Awesome. Well, we have been doing Elation. We work on doing creative camps where we bring in people from outside to work with local people.
That's a great idea.
So like we did one with Jazzy Faye and Rodney Jerkins.
Amazing.
And we had them here for a week, and we brought all local songwriters and artists, and they all worked together.
That's great.
So like things like that.
So you produced that? That was your
that was
Okay.
And we did that last September.
Yeah.
And we've done a couple more since, but that was the most substantial one.
Great.
But things like that, which people can directly ask somebody like a Jazzy Faye.
Yeah.
What do I do? You know, or how what's going on? Where's the pitfall? You know, what do I have to look out for?
Yeah.
And even having some type of a mentorship, even if it's in like a 30-minute moment, can change the direction of somebody's life.
Mentorships are crucial.
So 100%. Yeah. So I feel like being able to have those conversations with the right people, and you know, I feel like that will create the independent people that can bring up everybody else.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, so things like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we just need more people like you who are knowledgeable and wise and sharp
Well, I
and
appreciate
already doing
that.
good things.
Yeah, I failed a lot.
So,
So
but you got to fail to be successful
I
in this
failed a lot.
business, right?
That's
I failed a
100%.
lot.
It's the best lesson in the world.
Yeah.
You know.
100%.
So,
yeah.
well, great. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, this was fun.
Absolutely.
Thank
I enjoyed our time and our discussion, and I'm sure everybody else is going to find it
you. Yeah.
educational.
Thank you. Big up
Absolutely.
Elation and the Bloom effect.
The Bloom effect. There you go.
Yeah.
Please tell everybody where they can find you, your socials.
Yeah, it's on the web. thebloomeffect.com. I'm on Instagram at the Bloom Effect. I'm on Twitter. I'm on all the things, basically. Facebook and also my personal accounts, Fiona Bloom. I'm pretty easy to find.
Awesome.
Just don't stalk me, but
Just
I'm,
don't stalk
I'm around.
me. Yeah.
I'm around, yeah.
Awesome.
I get around.
Well, as a publicist, you should be able to be found, right?
100%.
Yeah.
I want people to find me.
There you go.
I love to help. You know, I'm a mentor. I've mentored loads and loads of kids and, you know, young industry people over the years. And I've had loads of interns work for me, for my company. And that's what I'm all about, is just basically nurturing and cultivating new talent and the next generation, basically.
Absolutely.
The next generation.
Got to spread your web, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
great. Well, thanks again for coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for listening today, and I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time on the Elation Podcast.